One of the things that you said that I hadn't thought about, and I'd love to talk with you about because I have a feeling it might be impactful in how you are working with art now, is this idea that a lot of people you have met in the art world had a story about kind of a legacy in the art world, that their parents were collectors, or that it was kind of a multi-generational approach. And I often talk about how my grandmother was a collector and also how my parents hated art. So those two things kind of together, but I had that access generationally. And I wonder if knowing that's why you're interested in bringing more people to art. Does it have to do with the viability of trying to create access to art for people that don't come from that sort of legacy?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think every step of my journey was a sense of discovery that there were so many other art worlds beyond the mainstream art world we can think of. And this idea of representation and inclusion is so important. I, grew up in a pretty homogenous, community in terms of, my high school environment, my higher education environment. I was the only woman of color studying art history at my school. Of course, I went to a women's college, so it was all women. And, it was very clear after even getting my first museum job that it was a very homogenous workforce. And there were just so many other aspects of art history that weren't taught in school that I had to go out there and find my own information. And I think being someone who entered the workforce at a time where the internet became such an unprecedented tool to accessing art was incredible. And I think I was able to meet a lot of people, not only professionally through, art, you professional channels, but, meeting and discovering a new community of people online and being able to forge those connections later on in person was really important. And, without all of those things together, I think my career would be very different. And I think I always tell people that there's so many positions that I had ultimately that didn't even exist before when I was a student. So there's so much that's changed over the last several years. And I think there's going to be so much more change, particularly when it comes to technology, when it comes to having a more global and also inclusive perspective.